Yesterday, I watched Jake Bartlett from Jake in Motion's new video on vibe coding for After Effects and decided to give it a try, even though I've been a bit of a AI Scrooge, would be a good way of putting it. And within a day, I've created a full-blown utility with UI panel and all that I'm calling Brandy, which is a brand governance compliance checker. What does that mean? It means it's checking your colors and your fonts to make sure that they are brand compliant. I'm going to show you how the utility works in this video, and at the end of the video, I'm giving it away to you guys all for free if you want to use it. I also plan to create a new utility from start to finish on a video with you guys very soon. So let's get started. The script that I created, I've already installed, so if I go up to Window, it should be down here at the bottom called Brandy. And that will open up this new panel that you can dock if you want. I'm going to go ahead and dock that over here. What it does is allow you to create a color palette and add a list of fonts to a brand, and then you can save multiple brands within this drop down here up at the top. Then when you're working with a client, you can just choose which brand you're working on, and then you can scan the current composition as well as any nested pre-compositions to make sure that all your colors are brand compliant. So let's start by just setting up a brand. I'm going to make this very basic. I'm going to add black. So you just type in the hex code right here, and then you click Add Color. You can also click the Add Color button with the hex code blank, and then it will pop open the color picker for you. So we can add a white here. And then I'm going to add an orange color. And those are going to be my 3 brand colors for this particular demo. We can name the colors if we choose. So black, white, orange, and then you can also delete colors. So if I add another color here, which is a pink, and later on decide I don't want that color as part of my palette anymore, I can click the X to delete it. And then we can name our preset up here. So we will just name this Demo Brand. Push OK. And then any brand you create will be saved in this drop-down menu. You can delete them. You can add additional ones. We're also going to add a font to this brand. And the way we add a font, it gives you a little note here about this, but it's only checking the font families currently. It's not checking the font weight. So what we want to do is go to our character menu, or our character panel, and choose what font we want to use. So let's say we're going to use Palatino. You need to copy the name of this font family exactly as it shows in the drop-down for the font family. So I would recommend just highlighting it and copying it. It's going to be case sensitive, so make sure it's exact. And you paste that right here and click Add Font. You can add additional fonts. We're just going to stick with one here. So now let's get creating a few test scenarios. This utility will look at solids, it will look at shape layers, it will look at groups within shape layers, and it will look at text layers. It will look at fill colors, and it will look at stroke colors, and it will even look at color changes if you animate the changes. So let's look at each one of these scenarios. Let's first start by creating a solid, and we're just going to make this a black solid. So now we can go ahead and run the utility if we want and make sure that our solid meets the brand color specifications. Run. We are getting a pop-up that says all clear, no off-brand colors or typography violations found. Awesome. If we were to add another solid, and let's just choose a random color and push OK. Now, if we run the compliance checker again, we are getting a violation. It lets us know there is a color violation. There's two headings. You got color violations and font violations. If we look at the font violations, it says all clear, no typography or compliance issues, which is good because we have no text layers, so that would be a bit awkward, and I would need to go fix that and start this video over. But the color violation, we have right here, it tells us which comp it's in. Right now we only have one comp, so it's in the main comp. Which layer is it on? It's on deep red solid 1, which is what After Effects automatically named that solid. What type? It's a solid color. What color code it, or what hex code it found. And then it will even tell us what the closest color, or what the closest brand color is to the color it found. So it's suggesting what color we may have meant to use in this case. This is good enough. If we had a whole list of violations, there's a button down here to copy it to a clipboard so you can throw it into a text editor and kind of delete each violation as you fix it. So we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to go ahead and click close. And then let's create a shape layer. And let's give that a fill color of some kind of purplish blue, and let's just make a shape on it. And then let's deselect that shape. Let's also grab our pen tool, grab a fill color, and make some kind of stroke. Good enough. Now let's run that through the compliance checker. We come back over, find our Brandy panel, and click the run button at the bottom. And as you can see, our report is becoming quite a mess. Let's pre-comp these layers. And we'll call that pre-comp 1. Now, if we run the same report, you can see it has gone into our pre-comp and all of our errors are showing up on the composition pre-comp 1, but we don't have any errors on main comp. Let's add some text. And we're keeping it Palatino for now. So if we come back and we run the checker here, go down to our font violations, you see we still have no font violations. I'm going to get rid of pre-comp 1 for now just to make this easier to look at. Let's do two tests here. First, we're going to do the fill color. So if we animate the fill color, let's start off with a valid color, which is white. And we will keyframe that here somewhere random. And at the 30-second mark-ish, we'll change the color to something bad. Not that purple's bad. Purple is my favorite color, but in this case, it's not brand compliant. And then let's also change the typeface. So if we come over to our character panel, change this just to anything. We'll change it to something that we can actually read. All right, now let's go ahead and run the Brandy brand checker again. And you will see we have a couple violations. First, we have in our font violations down at the bottom, we have on the main comp, on the layer, this is text, it found the font family Candle, which, as we know, is not the font that we added to our brand. We also have color violations. And the one that we need to look at, and it looks like I may have a bug I need to go fix here on this animator. But we do have, on the main comp, on the layer, this is text, we have a text animator fill, and it gives us the exact time code where it happens. This does not check on the tweened frames. It only checks on keyframes. So if a color is gradually changing, it's not going to give you an error for every single frame. It's just going to give you an error on the keyframe where it changed. So you can see at the 30-second mark, we have found an incorrect color. I hope that this was enough inspiration to get you to try vibe coding for yourself. I'll leave a link to Jake's video to help you get started. And if you liked this video, if this was helpful for you, please smash that like button. It really helps the channel as I grow. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And YouTube should be suggesting a video right here that you're probably going to like, so check that out too. We'll see you next time, and until then, let's make some motion.